Spotlight, Inside HR, with your host, Meg Allen. Today's guests are Cheryl Bree, Director of Recruitment at Focus Point, and Paul Fiolek, Vice President of HR at BMG Bertelsmann.
Welcome back to Spotlight, Inside HR. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meg Allen. Our behind-the-scenes look into human resource departments has never failed to bring back a snapshot of reality, and today is no exception. Joining me for discussion are Paul Fiolek of BMG and Cheryl Bree of Focus Point. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've created a global world. Now we have to live in it. Saying bonjour is one thing, but honey, pack your bags is another thing altogether. Samuel Lafayette did it and hated it, and now he's back. Last week he met with Shona and Cheryl. Let's watch.
So, my experience in Paris could only be described as disappointing. Okay. I felt that I was let down, and I felt that I was misinformed. Although I was given some training, some French classes to bump up from my, high school, a little bit of college French. My family, they were left swimming. They didn't speak any French, particularly my kids who were young, and that was very difficult for them. In that same vein, I might also add that the schools, I was essentially given the list of one school near the neighborhood where we would be living. Turns out there were a couple of options. I didn't hear about them, and the school that was in the neighborhood was not particularly good. And there were other ones, just from getting to know a few Americans who were there, they were surprised to find out that I went to this particular school. They said, why did you go there? I said, it's the only one I knew about. My wife had a very difficult time with assimilation. French people it's a difficult community to break into, to be perfectly honest. And in a big picture scenario, we sold our home here. It didn't work out at all. I'm back in New York City. We're homeless, and I've got nothing to show for it. It was disastrous.
Samuel, are you aware of the Employee Assistance Program that we offer to all our employees prior to moving overseas?
Refresh my memory with that.
We offer the Employee Assistance Program upon you signing your contract to go overseas. That includes the language courses, which you obviously took part of. This program is also open to your whole family, so your children should have gotten involved, your wife should have gotten involved.
Yeah, was sort of vaguely aware that it was available for my family, but I thought, I'm going to do this job, and it was really me who needed it. And by the way, I could use a little more time than I was given, particularly for the French.
Well, based on our records here, it shows that prior to signing your 3-year contract to go to France, you signed it 6 months prior to you leaving, which gave you more than enough time for you and your family to participate in different parts of this program. Mm-hmm. Now that you're back in New York, I just want to first let you know that we really appreciate you as an employee. You've always done good work for us. We just want to inform you that the position that we have for you, if you choose to take it, of course, is something of a lower level than what you were doing prior. You were sent to France to start our company there, and so the position you left here, we've obviously filled.
And what kind of salary?
Well, we've decided that we should keep you at your current salary.
But at a lower level?
At a lower level.
Okay. Can I respond to that?
Sure.
That's unacceptable.
Well, you have to understand, Samuel, that you signed a contract, a 3-year contract to go overseas and start up our company in France. Our company has already paid millions of dollars for this. And we apologize. We're sorry that you didn't have a wonderful experience there. We're willing to keep you because you're such a good worker, but you did break that 3-year contract.
It should be clear in the memo that I sent to you that the breaking of that contract worked both ways. There were a lot of things that were promised me was completely neglected from your side. What happened in France, in my view, it's 50-50 the problem. It's you're as much at fault as I am, and really, I think that you guys are more at fault. I threw myself into that job with everything I had, and I was just not supported. If you want me back here, which I should think you would, to accept a position lower than what I've done after 9 years, how could I say yes to something that's a step down?
Well, as you know that, and you know our corporate structure, that we don't have an opening in Manhattan. If you're willing to, again, and I know you don't like this, to relocate, I can give you a position that was on the level that when you left, either Chicago or Los Angeles.
Well, I'm simply unable after this catastrophe with my family to, now that we're back in New York and are homeless, having sold our home to move to Paris, it's insane right now. And then to pack up and go to Chicago or LA, I mean, no.
So another location is off the table.
It's off the table.
Well, that's what we have. We only have this for you, or
this is so hugely disappointing.
Wow. So I'm going to start with Cheryl. What was your experience with this gentleman?
Well, it looks like communication was a huge problem here. On our end, I guess, with him as well, he did not take advantage of the employee assistance program that we had in relocating him to France. And he did not convey to us that he was missing these pieces. So communication was key. He needed to tell us beforehand that he was not doing well with our programs, and that maybe we should have extended the assimilation period from 6 months until a year, or however it might have been. Up front, before he left, it looked like it was a mistake for him to go out there because he wasn't ready.
Wow. What would you say was, watching this tape, how does it ring true for you as well?
Well, I would definitely agree that it's a communication issue, and there really needs to be a very clear guideline for when somebody is going abroad. And I thought the 6-month period to assimilate was very generous, and I also thought that bringing the person back at their current salary, albeit at a lower level, was very generous, considering that he has to be let out of his contract. So I think that Cheryl was doing the right thing for the employee, and granted that he's probably in a very difficult spot right now.
Sure, with the whole family in crisis.
Right.
So obviously, with the global marketplace as it is, it seems like the responsibility really falls on the HR department to handle this. So if, in a classic case where you have the control you'd like, what are the steps you take in choosing an employee that can go abroad, and how you make this transition smooth?
I would think first is willingness to go abroad, make sure that he or she is ready to make that type of move for him and or her, for her family as well. They have to investigate that and communicate that with us if they're ready to make that change. Also, the skills that they need to go out there and to be in a foreign country and to be prepared to do things in a different culture, and not only do their job but also assimilate to that culture.
And have that room where everyone's going to be adjusting. It's not going to be comfortable right away. How would you add to that?
Well, on the part of the employee, it's a lot of personal sacrifice, especially since he had a family. So it does take a while to get used to a new way of life. I think probably what a lot of companies who are dealing globally, what they can do for their employees who are going to be moving abroad, is to actually almost use an outside company. That an outside company will assign a personal manager to an employee who is going abroad, and they will make sure of all the details, because in our jobs, it's broad spectrum.
Sure.
And we have a lot of responsibilities, and to move somebody abroad is a very large commitment on our part as far as time is concerned. So I think more and more companies are looking to relocation companies who
like a welcoming
specialize.
committee.
Well, they hook people up with a welcoming committee, but they are the central point of information for any employee who's moving, based upon whatever a company's guidelines are and rules and regulations for relocating, whether it's abroad, whether it's domestic.
And how do you monitor how they're doing abroad? I mean, how do you choose a candidate in your in your department who can handle this? What are the telltale signs that someone is a candidate for such a thing?
it really depends upon what the position is calling for.
Sure.
You know, does the person need to be very analytical? Do they need to be, are they in a leadership position? Is it project oriented? Are they going over there for a specific period of time? And based upon that, then we're able, I think, to assess what the pool of candidates from inside the company are. And then I think on the employee's part, there's got to be a commitment, because it is a very difficult transition.
And a passion, actually.
Right.
You know, a passion. How would you like to add to that?
In addition to that the employee also has to be one that is very proactive. And taking on this, it's a huge task. And also realizing that, I think, on another subject, if I may change it, just while he was out there in this scenario, I think that his family and himself also were very homesick, and I think that we should have scheduled more trips home for him.
Great.
Maybe every 3 months, something that, where him and his family knew that, okay, we went this 3 months, I know next 3 months I'm going in another 90 days, and they can count down and something to look forward to.
So it's foreseeing not only the financial needs, but the emotional needs.
Absolutely.
And not just his needs, but the needs of his family. Great. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.